Roll up the window.
I'll turn off my AC.
There you go. Thanks. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Kurt? It's a little loud. You got a Could you roll your window up a little bit?
Yeah, I got no windows open right now.
All right, cool.
The sensitivity on my audio. Maybe that's it.
There you go. So, good evening, Woe Radio. How you doing? Woe Entertainment Nation. How you doing? So tonight I got a really interesting guest. I got Kurt Ballash. Kurt Ballash is with Ballash Woodworks. He's founder, CEO, HMFIC. You know, so. Hold on a second. Yeah, we're having fun now. Right now, I got Kurt Ballash on here because we're going to talk woodworking. We're going to get his background. We're just going to talk to him about a little bit of everything. And at the end, we're going to have a talk about what he's got going on, a little collaboration he and I are going to engage in. And all I'm going to say is we're going to help out the grease monkeys, okay? We're going to help out the grease monkeys who like to do extensive projects. I'll just say it like that. So, let me get some procedural stuff out of the way. Hold on a second, Kurt. I gotta get this out of the way. Let me read off the list of shows we got, okay? We're going to start off on Tuesday at 12, and all times are 12 Central Standard Time, okay? All right, we got Roy's Where's My Grill with host Roy Anthony, Tuesday at 12. Tuesday at 5, we got the Woe Radio show, the flagship show with Redneck, Pimp, Goose, Tater, and whoever else they end up having on there. Wednesday at 7, we got Blue Phoenix and Gaming with Jen. Thursday at noon, we got Roy again. And then we're going to get him back. Thursday at 2, we got Cars and Coronas. Now at 5 Central Standard Time, we got me, the Harambe Keeper. Friday nights at 7 on Spreaker, we got the Woe Hideout with Athen, and I'm on there sometimes too. Friday night at 9, we got Married with Comedy with James and Jeff. Saturday, we got Hot Boxing with Matt, and he and I are still collaborating on something. Sunday, we got Ale Train Fighters. Pimp, it's ale, not ally. Ale, as in a drink. Okay. And then after that, we got 1700 Somewhere with Athens, sometimes Shay, and whoever else. So that's the rundown. That's the list. All right, Kurt, let's start from the beginning. Tell me when you decided to join the military.
I think that goes back to while I was locked up in juvenile detention center when I was a young, mischievous juvenile, 15, 16 years old. I had intentions of going into the Navy and being a SEAL. And that didn't happen because the Navy didn't want mischievous dumbasses like myself.
Wait,
I'm 37 now.
Wait. The Navy doesn't want. The Navy said to you with a straight face they don't want mischievous dumbasses. How does that work? It's the Navy. How do they not want mischievous dumbasses?
They told me no. They're like, yeah, your criminal history is like a no-go in our book, so you're going to have to find something else next to do. So I walked next door to the Army recruit, and I told them I wanted to build stuff and blow stuff up. And that's how I joined the Army. I was a combat engineer for several years, walked through minefields. I was one of the selectees during basic training to attend the Royal Army Vet Corps through the United Kingdom. We went to their one of their canine training handler programs and learn how to use canine assets to demine minefields and do counter-explosive operations, something that the United States military hadn't done since Vietnam and they used faulty training methods, from my understanding of how it was explained to me.
The Army used faulty training methods?
Who would have thunk?
Wow. Yeah. The Army. Clutch my pearls. I never would have seen that coming. Okay.
So the reason why they messed up is, from my understanding, and maybe some history buffs can correct me, is that when we were training our military working dogs for counter ID, counter trap, counter booby trap, counter mine explosive tracking and stuff, we were training them on like trace metals inside the mines, which means that there was a lot of false indications, meaning that the dogs were essentially slowing down teams that were using them. So we had to. The British invented a system where we were able to train our canines down to 0.1 grams of TNT buried up to 12 inches in the ground, and our dogs had 99.9% accuracy in identifying where that mine was to less than a half-meter radius.
Wow.
So it was a really good capability that we added to the United States military. I did a lot of operations in Afghanistan utilizing those canine assets with one of the C-130s that when it got a flat tire and rolled in a Charlie keyhole at Bagram Air Force Base, and we had to go out and demine a path to the door so that the staff, the fighter, can get out of it and get back to the safety of the cleared area, the landing strip.
Wow.
But
so, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to pick on I spent my first 4 years in the Corps, and then I spent the rest of my time in the Army, so I can pick on my crayon eaters. So you had a criminal record, but you had a brain, which is why you ended up in the Army instead of the Marine Corps. Yeah, I totally get that.
Well, even the Marine Corps told them they weren't accepting waivers for the type of crimes that I was committed for. I was convicted for. Yeah. So I'm completely open about my past. I went to multiple security clearance investigations with Department of Defense, Department of State, Department of Energy. All of those clearances were approved because I was honest and open about my past. At 16 years old, I decided that I wanted to take a cell phone to school, and there was a kid that tried stealing my cell phone. They were trying to bully me, the jocks, and I had a butterfly knife. I put out the back of the kid's hand. I got my cell phone back, and I went to school like nothing happened. I handed off the knife to another buddy of mine. Thought he threw it away for me. Nope, he turned over the evidence. So I got convicted of this assault with a deadly weapon and deadly ordnance on school ground. A lot of those charges were downgraded to negligated assault, but because it happened on school grounds, it's something that always came up. Even now, I go and I apply for my concealed carry license or a weapons permit, I have to explain why that's on my history. Well, I used to. Since a couple years ago, I got it expunged legally. So the state of Ohio eliminated all personal identifying information that attaches me to the case, and only knows that there's a white male that committed this crime in this location. So there's no personal information that attaches me to that crime statistic. So it's good for me. Certain scope background investigations will pull that, but it has to be specific, like TSSCI clearances and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm gonna say I'm impressed when the Marines get a little nervous about your criminal history. That's impressive, dude. Because normally you can get a waiver for anything short of murder in the Corps. Really, you can't. I'm not even joking, dude. I had an honest to God pimp, a legitimate, literal pimp in my platoon. So yeah, that's bravo. It takes talent to scare the Corps. Okay, good job, dude.
Well, I think that was too good for the Corps anyway. Like you said, a little too smart. So when I was 17 years old, I was a junior in high school. I got expelled again for trafficking LSD to a couple friends, aka I got a couple hits of LSD. I gave a couple to my friends, and because they got sick, they went to the nurse. They thought they were having adverse reactions. They brought up my name, and I brought into it, got convicted of 4 counts of trafficking of LSD because that's all they could prove on me. And that's good because in the state of the state of Ohio, at the time that I was charged and convicted, for every hit of acid that can prove that you're in possession of over 4 hits, then you're charged with attempted manslaughter. So it was really good that I didn't kind of taught with more than what I did.
Well, here's the bright side to this. Once you joined the military, you became a much better. You graduated up to a much better circle of friends. So I mean, at least you got that. I mean, damn, you had some rotten ass luck with friends that they were dropping dimes on you like hard as shit. That's impressive.
What's funny is that those people are like, they reach out to me on Facebook and try to friend me, and it's like, I haven't forgot who you are. Like, I may act like I forget who you are, but I haven't forgot who you people are. Like, the snitches that were in my life back then, I get it. They were scared. They were kids, whatever. I don't hold it too much against them, but it's definitely not people I bring back into my circle anymore.
Oh no.
But like you said, I joined the military. I decided that wasn't the way that I wanted to go with my life. I wanted to be more. I was called for more, and I joined the Army. I served faithfully and honorably for 10 years. I had one negative UCMJ action for using steroids while in service. I was serving in the soft community, so a lot of the guys were doing it. I just happened to be dumb enough to get caught for it. So. Yeah. No big deal. It set back my career a little bit. I never really got promoted to the military because of that. But I was still good at my job. I was still good at what I did. The guys on my team loved me. They respected me. And I learned a lot. I learned to put aside my ego. I learned to serve and be selfless. And I learned what honor, integrity was. And it gave me a whole new code of morals to live by. And that's what I got out of my military service, as well as everything that they talk about entrepreneurship, without teaching entrepreneurship.
Well, I'll agree with you, because one thing I learned about, like, when you're in a combat zone, ego can get you killed, and if it only got you killed, wouldn't be a problem. It does get other people killed too. So yeah, the ego's got no place in combat. So you gotta be all about the team. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So. When did you get into woodworking to where you are now? You're basically a master craftsman at this point, from what I'm seeing from all the stuff you're doing. Well, when did you get into woodworking and decide that's my thing? When did you go from I want to blow stuff up to I want to build stuff? How did you make that? What happened there?
All right, so I grew up in the woodworking community. My grandfather he makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing. He passed away 2 years ago, and my dad he teaches me. 2013 I got out of the military, and I decided that I wanted to go try to be a physician assistant. I was going to go practice medicine for the civilian world, and I was going to make something better of myself. A couple years into that, I decided that wasn't the route for me. I got offered a job as a security contractor overseas, and I just steered back over to Afghanistan, back over where I was comfortable and I knew my job. But during home trips, you're gone 105, you're home 35. And during home trips, I started playing around in my garage with the tools that I inherited from my grandfather and putting them to use. So that was kind of when I made the transition from, just being a military guy to being finding that kind of peace and resolve in woodworking. It was a really rapid transition too. I found that the more I was working with stuff and the more I had my hands on those tools, the more I was refining that wood. There's my buddy in the background. I had to get back to the shop. He that's my dog. But I started finding a lot of peace and solace and comfort in being in my shop and being connected with the sander. The slight vibration on your hand and the sound that makes, and the way that you have to focus and you have to really tune into that, it drowns out a lot of the other overbearing noise in your head and allows making yourself better, making you patient, making yourself acknowledging yourself through a lot of that process. And that's when I started to really go, man, I want to do this. I want to do this for the rest of my life. I don't want to do this just part-time anymore. So I transitioned out of service. I transitioned out of contracting. A couple years later, I was starting to, injuries were starting to pile up. They were starting to get a little overbearing. I was no longer a combat asset. I was a core multiplier. I was starting to become a combat liability. I was slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
The back injuries were starting to impede my ability to hold a rifle correctly. My hands would start going numb due to the cervical nerve impingement in my neck.
Wow.
And then I was having a hard time breathing because of the nerve impingement in my thoracic spine. It was causing a lot of nerve pain coming around to my sternum every time I would take a breath. So I just figured it was a good time to transition out. And then I went through about a year after that where I was on my couch crying in pain almost every day, and my wife was looking at me because there's nothing she could do. There's no way she could take that pain away. I went to a Lone Survivor Foundation in Texas, and I came back from there with the conclusion that if I'm going to be in pain, I need to have a purpose. And ever since I came back from there, I was like, you know what? If I get up and I get 30 minutes of working today, it's a success. And then 30 minutes turned into 45 minutes. And then that 45 minutes turned into a couple hours. And next thing you know, I'm able to stay on my feet for 4 to 6 hours a day working wood, because the serotonin and the happiness I was getting out of working with wood was overbearing, was overcompensating for the pain that I was in. The doctor once told me that there's 2 ways that you can mitigate your pain. I could throw you on a bunch of meds and you could be farmed up, or you can increase natural serotonin production. And I chose the latter because when I got out on first set 15s, I was taking like 8 of those a day, and it was barely touching the pain. It was bad. And my wife used to call them the grumpy pills, because when I would take them, I'd get irritable, I'd get angry, and I didn't like that in me. So I decided then that I was going to do whatever it took not to have to take that shit.
Okay, now I've got like a laundry list of questions. Let's talk about let's talk about the transition. Let's talk about the time in service and the contracting time. I've always struggled with what I like to call the deployment itch. Did the contracting time kind of help?
It did. That deployment itch was like you said. I kind of alluded to it earlier. Like, I wanted to get back overseas. There was something about being over there with my brothers and sisters in arms. There was something about being so close to death, so close to the action, so close to that moment of end life at any given moment. I mean, it was random. You could be sitting in your chew at the end of the night and get hit by a mortar and game over. Like that's it. Not saying that I've seen a lot of people go out like that, but the reality was that's where we were at. That's what we were doing. And I was that exhilaration, that adrenaline of being that close to that end life was addicting. So addicting that addiction, even after I got out of the military and was done contracting, I was doing things purposely against my wife and my family because I knew it was wrong to try to elicit that adrenal reaction. Like anything, I don't care what it was, driving too fast down the freeway, weaving between traffic, going out and talking to people that I should be talking to, like other women when I was married. Like, everything that I should be doing, should not be doing, I was doing it. And it was bad. I mean, there was a time my wife and we had to take a few days away from each other. And it was at that point that I think that I really was so broken down and so beaten that I was willing to kind of see another route than that pursuit of adrenaline and that pursuit of exhilaration.
I still fight with it today. I would, if one of my old platoon sergeants were to call me up and say, "Hey, is your fat ass able to deploy?" "Oh yes, I am." Yeah, I still suffer with it, like almost on the daily. Especially after I have a breakup in a relationship, when I want to take my mind off of it. I want to go back to Iraq. I want to go to Afghanistan. Let's start a damn war with China and get it over with. Oh, I get that fully. Okay.
I got an email and a call from one of my old military, or one of the old contracting buddies of mine. And this is probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And, I lost my wife last year to a heart attack, so I can't leave no more. And it hurt me really bad to respond to that email and that phone call. Like, "Hey man, you got to take me off the roster. Like, I got no one else for my kids. Like, I'm it. I appreciate the offer. I appreciate the opportunity to get back in the fight, but I can't do it no more." But yeah, that was a hard acknowledgement to make. Even with my injuries, even with everything, like, I still want to get back over there. There's even, like you said, there's times now when shit's getting really bad, when I start feeling really down, that I'm like, man, I would love to get back over there. Life was simpler. You didn't have to worry about all these stressors. You just had to stay alive. And as long as you stayed
knew
alive,
you
you
could
did what
trust.
you were doing. Exactly. You didn't have to watch your back. You didn't, like, everybody over there was there for you, or was there for them, was there for the person to their left and right. And there was something really calming about that.
It was simple, and you just knew. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. We need to hear about. I mean, your wife looked like the picture of health, dude. We need to address that elephant in the room, and I'm going to say why right now. I got a lot of us on your friends list got scared for you. Like the first year of her being gone, we're like, oh hell. And I got scared because I've talked down a couple of veterans from suicide, and I'm like, I've always been terrified. I could never do that as a profession because the first person I lost, I would have a homicidal meltdown, like complete melt. I could never do it. So, and I've had friends that I've had to deal with like that, and it's like, okay, part of me got you on here because I want to really firmly establish comms, and I've had a project that I want to do with you, and I'll mention the project right now just in case we run out of time. All I'm going to say is about the project that I want to do with you is that grease monkeys who like to do a lot of extensive repair and overhaul work will enjoy what we're going to do. That's all I'm going to say for right now. Okay. As far as your wife, I was man. It's like yeah. Go ahead. Just go.
My wife was, like you alluded, she was healthy. She.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Crap. I can't hear you, dude. Oh, crap. Don't tell me I'm losing him.
Hey, do you got me now?
I got you now.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I was too close to the front door and it connected to my car, so I apologize to the audience for that.
No
so what I was saying, my wife was healthy. Every day she woke up, she exercised, she ate right, she ate meat, she didn't eat pork, she took multivitamins. Less than a year before she had her heart attack, she went in for a cardiac stress test. She had heart murmur growing up, so she always took a eye on it. She went to her doctor regularly. She was always having labs ran. I mean, nothing that would indicate that a heart attack ever popped up. Her twin sister, a lot of the same things throughout her life, heart murmur, stuff like that. She's still alive and kicking. She's under intensive care by a cardiologist now, just to be preemptive and everything. So it's just, it was a kick in the gut. You know, the position where I'm standing right now is where I was standing March 20th, 2020, when I got the phone call from my daughter at 2:47 in the afternoon that my wife wasn't waking up. And I made it home in 13 minutes. And when I walked in the door, I knew it. You know, like the moment that you walk in the door, or the moment that you walk like a patient and you see certain things, like, and as a medic, I never once fought that panic. Like, I always felt cool, calm, collected. I knew what to do. But for that split second, when I see my wife, I didn't know what to do. I was so scared. I started CPR. I called 911. I went through my training. The moment, that split moment, when I almost felt like there was nothing. Like, what do I do? Shit, Kurt, you know what to do. Start CPR. Check for pulse. No pulse. Start CPR. Kelsey, call 911. I am on the other phone talking to her daughter, Hunter, saying, hey, something happened on this. They came in the door. EMS was already there. They arrived on scene. There was no pulse. There was no rhythm on the monitor. They left the house. ETAC on the monitor. They were able to give her shots. They were able to bring her down in rhythm. They got her to the hospital. About an hour and a half later, she was able to sustain a pulse on her own with heavy medication, arithmetics, all that kind of stuff. And About 24 hours later, we found that because she was without oxygen to her brain for about 15 minutes, that she had sustained too much brain damage, and that about 90% of it was swollen and covered in seizure activity. So my wife and I, being the prepared people that we are, we had talked about this day. The only difference is, I think I always anticipated that I would be on the other side of that. The guy that lived his life 1,000 miles an hour, the guy that's done drugs, the guy that uh, drank his liver into submission, the guy that was out being stressed every freaking day, the guy that didn't deserve to make that situation made it out. And it sucks to say it that way, but I really, I mean, you never plan when you're sitting down and having that discussion. You never plan that it's actually going to happen. You hope that it'll never happen, and I had hoped that it would have been me on that other side of it, but it's not. It's me here now. I'm left behind, and like you said, I got a lot of really good friends like you, Richard Kaufman, Mark Dudek, Robert Garcia, Greg Clark. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of all these people in the vet tribe that they changed my life after my wife passed away. I didn't feel alone. Not that I felt alone before that, because I had my wife, but one of those first feelings that I felt like, shit, I'm alone now. I'm like, with me. But that was quickly. I was sitting in the hospital explaining to people what was going on. I'm sitting in the waiting room, and I have people from the tribe, specifically Brandon Cox, and the people that he got motivated to do it. They put together a GoFundMe, and it covered every penny of my wife's funeral.
Oh, wow.
It was the beginning of COVID, so nobody could travel. Everyone wanted to see me, make sure I was okay. Everything shut down. So Brandon Cox, without even talking to me, stood up a GoFundMe, and within probably a week and a half, between the tribe and all of the friends and the veterans and the community that I had around me, it had covered to the dollar everything that it cost to put my wife in the ground. We were donated 2 cemetery plots by a local business owner, the McCann family. They're really good friends with my wife's ex-husband, Ben. And me and him have always been really tight. So through that grief, through that loss, I realized that, when I felt alone, I realized I wasn't really alone. I had a lot of people in my corner. And that's why when you go back and you say, like, you were worried, like, I was never worried about, like, suicidal ideations or wanting to get the fuck out of here and going to my wife in that way, because I had responsibilities here, and I knew that no matter what, I wasn't alone. And I think that's one of the things that lead veterans to suicide, is that sensation that they're alone and we can help them. But I never felt that because of guys like you, because of guys in that vet tribe, because of my family, because of my friends here in Fayetteville. It was an uplifting experience in the grief-filled moment.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do, and here's my concern. My thought was, you knew the friends were there, right? How hard was it to lean on them? Because we veterans are prideful bastards. We are so damn proud, and like we don't want to actually lean on them. You know what I'm saying? We know they're there to lean on, but we don't want to. So how hard was that for you to do that in that respect?
So, like, I had someone else reach out to me right before I found out about Brandon Cox, and they said, "Hey, I'm considering standing up a GoFundMe. What do you think about that?" I wanted to reach out before I did it, and I told them, like, "Hey, man, listen, I appreciate the offer, and like you, I was kind of like worried about my pride, like getting that help from people, especially monetary help, when I didn't really need it." I didn't really need it. Like, my wife and I were prepared. We were smart with our money. We're not in debt. We don't have a lot of bills. The only debt we have at home. So I told them, I was like, "Hey, I appreciate the offer, but I don't need the money. Like, I really don't. I appreciate it." There was a couple really close friends that included and stuff like that to the house to make sure I get fed while I was stuck in the hospital. And I kind of didn't mind that, but even that was kind of like, man, that. Like, I should be able to take care of my family to be able to do this. And then, just on a 12-man ODA or in a platoon, every person has their job. One person doesn't do it all. We grew up in a team atmosphere, so why is it that vets have a hard time help from people when we rely on each other so much during service. And I can't answer everybody's why. For me, it was just pride of wanting to be autonomous, coming out of the military, not feeling like I had been indoctrinated into the military's version of success, and I didn't want to feel like it when I got out. I didn't want to see other people being like, man, look at this guy, he went and served and he can't even take care of himself, and that all went away. When somebody told me, like, hey man, you're hurting and other people are hurting with you, and at this time this is their only way of being there with you, let them do it. Why are you so against them showing their love for you in that way, if that's the only way that they can show you their love?
My thing, I'm going to share with you, I did what you basically said I shouldn't do. Like, I actually dealt with Lone Survivor a little bit, but I think I self-sabotaged really bad because I didn't need a reminder of my failures. You see, here's the weird thing. I'm going to share this. I'm going to throw this at you, and we'll discuss or whatever. I've been deployed twice to Iraq, right? So technically, I'm a combat veteran, but out of respect for my grunt brethren, and B, because of my my perfectionist nature. Okay, I'm going to throw something else at you. I think you'll get a kick out of this. I always wanted to be a carpenter. My grandmother's second husband was a carpenter, and watching him do carpentry work, drunk and stoned, and God protects stupid people because he still had all his digits before he died somehow. Yeah, it was bad. So here's a technical manual. So you take stuff apart, you put it back together, and then the task is done. Okay. So, hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I got you. I'm standing here in front of my employee really quick back at the shop, and it's our first time stating something. So if I mute myself and you see me like running my lips, whatever, I'm giving her instruction on how to properly state. I'm listening to you. I hear you, brother.
Gotcha. Got it. Okay. So, yeah. So Unit A shoots at Unit B, right? Unit B shoots back at Unit A. And, the shenanigans happens. I got shot at and I got IED'd, but I didn't get the return. And because combat is the ultimate go, no-go experience, for me, the experience was always incomplete, and my inner perfectionist dickhead cannot tolerate that. It eats at me and it drives me nuts because I don't know if I'm proficient at the task. It'd be like if I walked around an engine shop helping people, just do basic tasks. I can't call myself an engine builder because I have not built an engine from start to finish. Okay, so that's my struggle. That's what I struggle with. So I'm throwing that out there just to, throw it out there, so people kind of get a feel for me, and so I acknowledge my struggle. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm prideful like you are. And like I dealt with a Lone Survivor once, and that experience didn't turn out well, probably because I did my part to sabotage it. And I sabotaged myself so bad in a couple of different instances that I don't really reach out to the veteran community from a nonprofit standpoint all that often, because it's such a torturous experience, because I don't want to admit that I need the help, and I don't need to be reminded of how much of a failure I feel like. So yeah, so that's my struggle. So I completely get that. Okay. Here's what I want to do with you. I have two crappy little. Okay, don't hate me for this, but I have a cutting board that's like made out of not plastic, but it's like it's one of those. It's a crappy cutting board, and I want one of your cutting boards, so I'm gonna have to come to a class. But I also want to do something else. I spent 2019 in a diabetic coma for 2 days in July of 2019, and yeah, I'll tell you that story some other time. And ever since then, like this will be my second anniversary. I do what I call a coma-versary workout, where I work out till I damn near want to die. And I got this crazy ass conspiracy theorist college wrestler kettlebell trainer. I call him Tater, and he won this last summer. He took me through what's called the Suns Out, Guns Out workout. You will die. You will die.
You will die.
You will die. You will die. I'll come to your place. I've got something possibly going on in June or July. I'm going to push it back. It's going to involve kettlebells, a couple of easy curl bars, and pain. Okay? Pain. Like pain.
Pain with a purpose, or pain without a purpose?
Oh, it's a purpose. Once you get to be our age, you do workouts to survive the beating, for the dignity of surviving the beating, and it'll be a conditioning workout from hell. Okay, because I'll bring my 70-pound kettlebells, and I'm trying to get my hands on a pair of 106-pound road kettlebells. And we'll take them to the gym. We'll use the easy curl bars, and because
we ain't going to the gym. I got a place to go. There's a buddy of mine named Willie. He's got a spot in the garage. He's got everything we need: GHD, squat racks, bench, everything.
We're going to Willie's place then. That's fine.
He's got a 2.5 noon with some kettlebells that look like a gorilla. It weighs like 90-something pounds. It's stupid.
Okay.
It is. And because that isn't heavy enough, this is what the dumbbell does. He makes a chain, and he adds a 25-pound dumbbell on the chain, hooked around the base of the kettlebell. So obviously we're not doing kettlebell swings or anything like that. We're doing kettlebell, like kettlebell rows and all other stupid crap that he decides to do.
I'll bring my 70s, and if I can get my hands on the 106s, I'll get those too. It's swings, it's curls, then it's farmer's walks, and then it's core. So it'll be 50 swings, 10 curls, 40 swings, 20 curls, 30, 40, 20, 50, 10. And by then, your arm should be about to... You're smoked. And then you do the farmer's walks. Then you do the farmer's walks with both of them. So we'll do that, because I've got something going on that might involve me dealing with some stuff, and I'll explain that later. But we'll do that, and then... let's see. Yeah, we'll do that. And all I'm going to say is I'm working on a project I'm trying to get done over the next couple of months entitled Smokezilla. I'll send you a picture of my private chat of what part of it's going to look like, okay?
Yeah.
And we're going to do some cooking, okay? We're going to do some cooking. And then we're going to
do the workout after we do the woodworking. Otherwise, you're not going to want to do the woodworking. So you can come play with my wood, and then I'll play with your metal. And after we get done playing with each other's hardness, then we'll go ahead and we'll cook up some shit on the big green egg.
Okay.
Drink some bourbon and some scotch, and we'll make a good night of it.
Okay, there you go. That's our plan. So, yeah, we're gonna do that. And right now, I'm trying to get ready for Warrior Fest. So, yeah, and I'm trying to get the word spread about your business. Because you're a craftsman. You put out good stuff. Okay, so I want everybody listening. You need to go to Ballash. Go on Facebook, look up Kurt Ballash, Ballash Woodworks, and then go to BallashWoodworks.com and check out. He's got workshops out the wazoo. What are you doing the Highlander stuff again? That looks like a lot of fun because
So we're going to sponsor this year's Holiday Highlander. It's a nonprofit event that goes to benefit Continuing the Mission, which helps outfit veterans and helps. So in our community by constantly engaging with nonprofits that help the veteran community. I go out and I train with the guy. I didn't end up competing last time because a week before I was posted in the field. One, I found out that I needed a kilt or a kilt, something like that, and I didn't have one. So I don't have one of those yet. So I won't compete until I get one. And two of my back injuries were kind of aggravating me at the time, and I didn't think it was right to go out there and start flipping capers and stuff like that. So I took the time off. However, I still go out and shoot every now and then to try to perfect, or at least try to get my technique a little bit better.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm nowhere near any of the competition level. I just like going out there and doing stuff.
Do they have Atlas stones and tires too for these events?
Some of them they do mix with a strongman event where they'll bring in like was it the pillars where you just got to hold them and then they take weights and stack them on and you hold them for time.
That's
they
brutal.
got the sheaf toss. They got like the iron cross. We got those 12-pound hammers out your side. So they got Atlas stones. They'll bring out like the silver dollar deadlift platform and you'll deadlift for weight and it's a good time. It's a good amount of strong in with typical Highland Games events. Keep it constantly engaged. Once it gets closer to the event, like probably right around now, they're going to start doing like marketing things that people get ready for the event. Willie does a really good job teaching and instructing and breaking down your technique and form to ensure you're doing things safely while also optimizing units and getting stronger and better in each individual event.
Nice. I'm doing the Clemson Power program, and I have developed an unbelievable love-hate relationship with hang cleans. I do them religiously, so yeah, I'm ready for this. So yeah. Okay, so it is warm as hell in here. Anyways, no, I'm looking forward to coming out to your shop because I want to get all this done. I want to get everything. I want to get engaged to where you and I are sharing our struggle to the point where other veterans are like, we have no excuses. Well, that's what I want veterans to say. Well, once we do our thing, I want veterans to say, these two whack jobs are still doing this. Okay, they're still trying. They're warped. They're crazy. Their pasts are horrible, but they're still doing this. I have no excuse to isolate anymore. I have no excuse to not try anymore. I have no excuse to not get the help I need anymore. You know, I want us to really build up these nonprofits because we need an alternative to the VA. I'm not going to rant about the VA right now, but we need the alternatives to the VA that we want to set up these nonprofits to be as powerful, effective, and potent as possible because the VA has failed us. Okay,
well,
so yeah.
So I think that the problem with the VA isn't not necessarily that they don't care about us. It's that the layers of bureaucracy that they implement through Congress, through the Department of Defense, and down to their administration make it nearly impossible for the VA to operate well. This is my experience. I've received good care from the VA. However, it takes a long time. It takes a lot of being your own advocate to receive that level of care, meaning that you got to follow up with the people on the ground there. You got to make sure that you contact your primary care physician. Make that you're being honest, because a lot of the times us guys going into the VA, we carry over that military mentality of like, no, I'm good. I don't need any help, because you don't want to get taken off of operation. You don't want the doc to tell you, you know what, for the next couple of weeks, you can't do shit. So I think there's a lot of breakdowns in the VA healthcare system. I was talking to another gentleman, and he's received some of the top-notch care for his ankle and knee injuries, and some of the systems that the VA provides him with are high-dollar systems in order to make sure he is taking care of himself. But it took a lot of his advocacy to get there. It took a lot of him being in the VA's face. Otherwise, you just fall by the wayside, and you can't just call. You can't just mail. You have to go there. You have to be present. You have to talk. You have to be honest, transparent, open. These guys aren't out to screw us. I will say there's some things that I don't like about the VA. I was going to get anti-inflammatory medicine. I was trying to get Celebrex for my back, and because Celebrex wasn't part of the approved pharmacopoeia that the VA was authorized through Congress, I had to go through 6 months of paperwork to get Celebrex when naproxen, ibuprofen, and all these other medicines weren't offering me any relief from pain, and they were making my injection worse. And all they cared about checking the block, checking the block, checking the block, checking the block. So I don't think that it's the people at the VA. I think it's the systems that are passed through, the bureaucracy that make it really hard for the VA to job effectively. But you're right, there has to be systems to augment that. And that's why, guys like you, guys like me, guys like Richard Kaufman are out there constantly a proponent for veterans, up telling our story about what we've overcome and been through. That's going to give the guy to our left and right the confidence that they can come out and be honest about how they're feeling. They can seek help without, if a guy like me go seek help, and we're seen as these big figures, not trying to inflate my self-worth or anything, but a lot of people reach out to me and say that they're inspired by my driving on after everything they have. And that's not something that I take lightly. So I try to present myself. I'm open. I'm honest about what I've been through. I'm open and honest about my doubts, my fears, my anxiety, my question, everything. Because at the end of the day, being honest about those things are what allow us to overcome those things, because we're no longer hiding and running from them. So I've instituted a way for me to utilize what I got so therapy out of woodworking, give that back to the military community and the veteran community and their family members through our trades, through our workshops and woodworking and leatherworking, glass blowing, metalworks. Is we're going to have this all-in-one resource center for veterans to be able to come explore things with their hand, enact their creativity, and get engaged with the community of people that enjoy process. So when they start feeling like shit, they've already got a common mutual ground that allows them to connect and be honest with the other person that's there with them.
You know what I've discovered, what you and I are doing in our own way, is we're trying to get the veteran to feel competent again. Like competent, it's like common task training. It's like when you isolate really bad, when you get depressed really bad, your confidence in your competence and your proficiency as a human, just a basic individual, just takes a nosedive. And the Rona has just made it exponentially worse for the veteran, because now he's alone with his own thoughts, his own demons, the whole nine. So we need America needs to open back up to where the veteran can get out of his own head. We need to get the veteran community out of its own head as quickly as possible. Now that the Rona's starting to let up, yada yada yada. We need, because the medical community weighs the mental, the medical, the physical cost, but they are Alex Jones. I'm going to admit I'm kind of retarded stupid when it comes to the mental cost. They just can't compute it, so they just ignore it to our peril. So we need to be doing this stuff to get the veteran feeling competent in the basics again and feeling like they're capable. Because not only do we have our own capability issues, but we have issues with the VA, because what we feel like we require as veterans is it's like engine work, an engine overhaul, where they just want to kick the tires and throw some fuel conditioner in, some octane booster, and say you're fine. We don't. That's the problem with the VA. They want the simplest. Okay. You remember the iconic scene from Predator when Jesse Ventura eats a space bullet, and then the other guy picks up the minigun and clear cuts the damn forest with it? The VA. Okay. Now, in the automotive technician field, you've got the 7-step diagnostic process, which is nothing more than the scientific method adapted to the automotive technician community, right? So we go through a process where we confirm the fault, we go through our trouble trees, and then after the trouble trees, what we go through is the tech bulletins. And the tech bulletins are basically saying, okay, you followed the trouble tree, I did too, it didn't produce anything, so I came up, I literally developed my own trouble tree based on my ability to diagnose the problem, match your symptoms up to my symptoms, and then do the protocol that I just did. So you go through those steps, and those are pretty involved. And then you go through a step that no self-respecting technician wants to go through. It's called firing the parts cannon, where you just start guessing what parts could possibly be wrong and replace them until the problem just goes away. The VA has turned the parts cannon into that minigun, and they just spray and pray. And they don't actually care what they hit. That's the problem. The VA, pardon my language, I gotta say it this one time. I wrote a poem that I think I sent you, and near the end I said the old, well, as the old first sausage likes to say, you need to develop a very strong desire to not fuck this up. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Forgive me. The VA, in some instances, in entirely too many instances, does not have that desire. They do not have that desire, and we need to figure out a way to help them get that desire. Okay, because they were just, if them being parts changers and lube techs would be an upgrade compared to what they are. So, okay, that's my rant on the VA. Okay, so you've been a bomb tech. You lost your wife. How many kids do you got?
I'm sitting at 4 kids now. 2 biological, and 2 of them are from my late wife.
Okay.
My 19 and my 15-year-old, my son and my daughter, they're tech not on, but they are. I raised them for 13 years. I consider them my kids. They still come over to the house and stay a night with me. We go out and get together, hang out. We do stuff together. I mean, Elsie when I need it. Like, we're still pretty tight, which is a really great feeling, knowing that I get to see a lot of Jamie through them whenever we're around. And then I got my biological oldest lives in Ohio. She is, we'll call it the casualty of the military in my family, meaning that because of the way that I did in the military and I got a divorce from my ex-wife, my daughter believed for a long time that I was choosing the military over her. And when she would hear things from her friends that don't understand the military community back in Ohio, saying things like, your dad doesn't even love you. He'd rather be at war killing people than home with you. Like, that stuck in her soul for a period of time, and it's something that we're still trying to work through and recover from to this day. Our relationship isn't negative anymore, but it's definitely not where I would want it to be. And then my youngest, 9-year-old, was home with my wife when she passed. And she's my strong one. She's the one that keeps me kind of going every day. When I'm feeling really down, she's coming up and said, everything's going to be okay. Okay.
Dude, you get me up on my damn feelings, dude.
Hey, get there, man. If I'm not getting you into feelings talking about my wife, then where's my was? I'm really fortunate to have the kids that I have in my life. Like, they've helped me through a lot this last year.
Well, we'll pray real hard for your relationship with your daughter up in Ohio to get better, because it's got to get better, because now that your wife is gone, that you have to repair that. That needs to be a hot mission, dude. I'm going to say that needs to be a hot mission for you to get to the very least begin the repair work, because every day your wife is gone, it's just gonna make things worse. So all I will say is pray on it that that can be a hot mission you can accomplish. And hell, I got friends up in Ohio. We'll road trip it the hell up there together, and we'll do like multiple missions. You know what I'm saying? We'll handle multiple things. If you need to road trip up there, I'll give you my address and my private chat. You swing by my place, we'll haul ass up there, and we'll do all kinds of fun, stupid stuff.
Yeah, I'll be open up to travel after July when I get my new truck in. Right now, trucks are back ordered, and both of my vehicles are end life. The Land Cruiser what drove is sitting at like 270,000 miles, and it's costing me $2,000 to $4,000 a month to keep it up and running. Things like oil pumping, because it's a Land Cruiser, you got to like the entire front half of the engine. 18-hour job. I just had to replace a lot of stuff with the oil system, oil sensors and stuff, because the oil pressure was dropping at idle. And into the suspension recently. So with 260,000 miles, 270,000 miles, the car runs great. The engine sounds good. The transmission shifts really good, but everything else is shit.
My Jeep Wrangler, I'll send you a picture of my yellow Jeep Wrangler. I've had her since I got home in 2008. My second deployment paid for her. So, yeah, she needs, the plan is, if the book and everything else I'm trying to get done is successful, do you know there's such a thing? My body guy, no joke, my body guy took one look at my Jeep and uttered the words, just off the top of my head, 6 months and $50,000 worth of damage or worth of work to get done. He literally said 6 months and $50,000 just looking at it. My wallet, God help me, tried to actively escape from my pants. So, and there will literally be this thing called a body rotisserie involved, where the body will come up off of the frame, and there's literally such a thing called a body rotisserie. And yeah, so my baby is going to be pimped out. It's going to be resto modded, new drivetrain, box frame, the works. So all my endeavors need to be obscenely successful. Okay, and I need to get back to school. Yeah, so we're gonna have. Hey, you and I after July are gonna have one hell of a busy summer because we're gonna do some stupid stuff together. If we had the road trip, here's what I'm gonna say: I want a picture of the damn new truck when you get it. If I get a picture of the new truck,
I'll send you a new truck that I've already ordered. I'm getting here to Fayetteville, and it's beautiful, man. I'm getting a nice diesel Cummins engine. Something I don't work on anymore, but that will free up some time and some finances so I could start working on my wife's Land Cruiser. Maybe even bringing in some of these really nice ways to hold all the machinery stuff like you were kind of talking about.
If you need a body guy, I got you. If you need a body guy, I got your hookup. I'll call my body guy and yeah. Okay.
There isn't much body work to do on the Land Cruiser. It's mainly, I mean, the body obviously needs a new paint job, but there's no any undercarriage. The engine and transmission run really good. We just had to replace the fan motor assembly mount bracket or whatever it was because my wife was driving home and was just flopping around in there. I've already replaced the radiator, the alternator, the starter. I've replaced now the majority of the oil system, other than the oil pump, because I didn't have it in the budget at the moment. But that's car, that Land Cruiser is rated as one of the best off-road vehicles in the world. It's nothing I'm rid of. And even when most people say, "Yeah, you should probably scrap that," I don't think I'll ever be able to do it. It's my wife's baby. She had that car longer than I knew her. Let's just put that.
Okay, here's what we'll do with that then. Okay. I'm gonna add. Here's what we're gonna do. I gotta get obscenely successful with all my endeavors now, because what we're gonna have to do, we might have to turn that into a resto mod project. So I'm gonna get. Okay, we're gonna talk about that offline. Okay. Just real quick. Hold on a second. There's Persiog91 wants us to talk about the cannabis topic. We never talked about it, but here's. Persiog91. Hold on, I'll handle this real quick. Okay, we never talked about the cannabis topic, but what I'll do is I'll dedicate an entire episode to it. Okay, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk. Well, I want to dedicate. Yeah.
Let me This is something that I'm kind of, I don't know, not passionate about, but something that I would like to see as more of a mainstream discussion. When I was getting out of the military, the VA was throwing me on perks, Vicodins, Neurontin, all these other medications, and it got to the point my wife was calling them the grumpy pills, and I couldn't think about them. I felt addicted. I felt like I was shitty on them. I felt like I felt shitty off of them. It just wasn't good at all for me. I came off of that. I came out of the contracting world. I was no longer in possession of security clearance. I picked up marijuana because it helps me manage my pain without going to a point of necessarily being stoned. Like, I grew up, my dad is one of the hardest men in my life I've ever met. I've never won a day out. He is one of the most creative and talented woodworkers I've seen in the world. Some of the stuff my dad has done makes me, and every day, I mean, my dad smokes weed. I have nothing against it. I think it's something that needs to be a mainstream discussion without the tail end of it. Like if you take it, we're going to take your gun, right? Like you're seeing other places. Like, oh, you're
exactly
a narcotic. Like we need to take your firearm away now, or we're not going to approve your purchase permit because we see that you have a medical marijuana license. Like when's the last time you lost that? Because right now it's still a controlled substance. But they don't do the same thing for fucking Percocet and Vicodins and all this other shit that people are running around on.
Dude,
they don't do the same thing for SSRIs or alcohol. You're allowed to do all everything else except for marijuana. This bullshit.
Dude, I'm going to say this like this. Okay. These people who are dealing who have I've heard studies that it has long-term effects, but I'm thinking that's like a daily use, like you're on it every damn day. And here's the thing: the fact that they're trying to take firearms away and stuff like that based on you know based on marijuana use. I'm going to say it like this. Forgive me. That is you'll get the reference. I guarantee you. That is reefer madness. Stupid. That is reefer madness. Stupid. And those people are doing that because they want control. They want control, and that's what it is. Oh, we're going to control you by being reefer madness, stupid, and alienating and demonizing you for being on a drug that's helping you, that's natural. I'm not saying everybody should be smoking weed. When you get into my book, you're going to read about my grandmother on my mom's side of the family. This is going to sound horrible. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, I lost my train of thought. Completely lost it. No. Oh yeah. My grandmother smoked so much weed. She's literally been smoking weed for 40 years. I put her bong hit up against Willie and Snoop. Like in the book, I literally call her Doobysaurus. But
that's a good one.
She's ornery as hell, and she's the reason I have the fighting spirit that I do. So for that, I'll always love her. But yeah, all I'll say is you'll get a kick out of it. You will really, really, really get a kick out of it. But yeah, that's my stumbling block to marijuana. But I am definitely going to get on some CBD oil simply because. Oh, hey, whoa. Her son. She also said you have a very nice beard, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Persiog is feeling your beard. Feeling your beard. You got a beard fan, bro. You've got a beard groupie.
Yeah.
She's from Brazil, no less. Persiog is from Brazil, so you've got a Brazilian beard groupie. Take a bow, bro. Take a bow. Good job. Okay. So anyways, yeah. So the plan is this. Apparently, we're now going to road trip it once you get your new vehicle. And apparently, we're going to resto mod your wife's vehicle. And apparently, we're going to kill ourselves in the gym and eat horribly fattening, wonderfully tasty foods in the grill. Oh, I'm going to send you a picture of my outdoor brick oven. And I need you to get some bricks. So I'll bring my grate along. I'll show you how I do my cooking. And unless I can get Smokezilla done. It just depends. So you and I are going to have an incredibly busy summer, dude. Okay? We really are. So.
Oh, let's add it to the list, brother. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I look forward to it. I think that we were talking about for the 4th of July, like just a few months ago, and doing like a cookout and doing a show and hanging out for a little bit. So I know this has been long overdue to kind of sit here and talk about life, talk about the issues that some veterans face, and try to figure out a way that we can make a positive difference, man. It's you keep doing everything that you're doing, you're going to make a huge difference.
Well, my plan is, for me, I don't know if you know this, but I didn't want this podcast, or I didn't reach out for this podcast. It was offered to me, and everybody knows the troll dickhead curmudgeon I've been. So I took it as like a sign from God, and I'm like, wait a minute. I would never ask for a podcast, but it was right after a stupid emotional thing, and it's like, this has forced me to come out of my shell, but the problem is I felt clumsy as hell. Plus, I'm processing my friend's death from last year, who died right around the same time my dog died. And I'm coming out of my shell, whether I like it or not, and it's just clumsy as hell. but yeah, I'm glad we're doing this because I love your work ethic, but the one thing I think all your friends and I will agree on is that we're worried that your work ethic will push your grieving process into the back of your mind. And if it's not done properly, okay, it's like an EFP. Remember those liquid copper bombs? No, did you guys have liquid copper bombs in Afghanistan?
Yep.
Oh, you did. The problem with the liquid copper bombs, if they hit too close, they splashed off like hot liquid copper. If they hit too far, they bounce off like a hot copper ball. But if they hit just right, they would melt through an engine block like a hot knife through butter. And in that, your grieving process, I think a lot of us are concerned that once they figured out how close to get it, they aim it towards the windows because it would melt right through the windows, through the bulletproof glass, and it would get in, and it would have enough kinetic energy to punch in, but it wouldn't have enough kinetic energy to punch out, but it would bounce around. It would bounce around like a giant pinball, killing people and stuff and maiming people. And I think our concern is you're going to work yourself so hard that you're going to push all that into your subconscious mind, and it might not be dealt with right, and then you're going to have problems. So that's something I was kind of concerned about. So that's maybe why I wanted to get together with you and us do a road trip and us do our workout and then just make a day of it and take that and give it to the whole nation and say, you have no excuse to not reach out for help now. These two, I wanted to be able to say, we two flawed veterans, with all our flaws, are still doing it. We're trying. We're reaching out. We're trying to get the veteran community together to where, at the very least, we're not skinning each other alive online, and we're helping each other because we've got the Rona, we've got a country that is, I don't want to say coming apart at the seams, but damn. And we cannot be skinning each other alive right now. Now's the time to not skin each other alive. Now is the time to circle the wagons and be like, okay, we need to ride this out together. And we need to love each other enough to not kill each other. And it's because the 22 a day, was damn near 40 a day because of the Rona. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they don't care.
Yeah, I know.
We're just our kids, us. We're all just accepted casualties of the forced closures and compliance efforts. Anyway, yeah. I do appreciate the time. I got to get running. I got to get out and pick up my daughter. All right. I got to get out to her and get some stuff to her, and I got to get on with I got some to do. So she's staying out at a friend's house tonight. I'm probably going to come back into the shop. And as for your worries about me pressing in to work too hard, I know I get beat down. I get stressed, just like everybody else. It doesn't seem like it's very worth it. But woodworking is still very therapeutic for me. I make sure that I have a balance in my life and I spend enough time with my daughter. I make sure that when I'm hurting, I take a few moments to talk with my friends, even if that's just on Friday nights of drinking bourbon and scotch and kind of talking through the week and my frustrations. I've made sure early on that I set myself up with the support that wouldn't let me do that. Including my kids. If I get started to get drawn too far into it, my kids make sure that they start to work. Can we go do something? So I've got the proper channel around me. I do go to counseling. I see a counselor once a month, once a week, but he kind of felt pretty confident that I was handling a lot of things the right way. When I feel those moments of grief come, I let them come. I feel them. I acknowledge them, I process it, and I let it go, and that's one of the things that's hard for us to do as vets is process it and let it go. We want to process it and repeat it, and then repeat it, and then repeat it, and then repeat it, and then repeat it. But I don't let myself get in that. I think that I'm doing a fairly good job at coping with losing half of my soul, essentially. But and that's why even now, efforts are to free up more of my personal time to spend with my kids and my family and pursuing life instead of working all the time. I'm trying to to get away and experience something that me and my wife never really did together because we were always trying to plan for the future. And one thing that I've learned is that the future isn't guaranteed. You got to live in life.
Mm. Well, look at it. Let me put it to you like this: watch your grass. So yeah,
Keep watching.
no. Oh, I will. Oh, don't you worry. If I have to. Okay, I'm traumatized now. Thanks a lot. Okay, you do what you got to do. We'll keep this conversation going, and I will talk at you later, bro.
I love you, brother, man. Be safe.
Good powwow, bro. And that was good, dude. That okay. Despite the horrible. Okay, let me scroll down. Okay, I feel like I'm a part of it. Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure that's a troll. Okay, no, we don't eat cats and dogs around here. We do domesticate them as pets. I personally don't smoke weed. I'm not sure if Kurt does. I'll find out when we get together. Yeah, so there you go. So, all right. So, Kurt Ballash. You need to go check out BallashWoodworks.com. You need to find Kurt Ballash on Facebook, and you need to check out his stuff because, again, he is a craftsman of the first order. I love him to death, and we are doing a project together. And all I'm going to say, again, all my professional technicians and my shade trees, we got something for you. Well, it's in the very beginning planning stages, but we got something for you. Persog, I got stuff I got to do. We'll talk some other time. I've got a whole show to get done. I've got segments planned, but we'll talk when I can. I've got kind of a protocol I'm trying to follow. Don't worry about it. I got a protocol I got to follow as far as what I'm doing. I'll try to get a hold of you on Twitch, and we'll talk a little bit, and all right, check it out. Check it out, everybody. So, okay, let's recap. Kurt has done some crazy, stupid things in his life, but who hasn't? I mean, once I finally get my book published, the only difference between he and I is my stupidity is gonna be in print. Okay, forever. I can't expunge that. So so he's been through the fire. He lost his wife, and I've seen pictures of this woman. This woman looked healthy as a horse. I'm dead serious. This woman looked healthy as a horse. She really did. And for her to just die of it's one of those when it's your time things. And I'm going to keep an eye on Kurt simply because I worry about him. Okay, he's that good. Okay, I am a dick at times. I am a real dick. Okay, and I actually feel bad if I were ever mean to him because he's the nice guy. He's the good dude. Okay. So let's get to talking about. We're gonna fully recap that interview. Okay, he did demolitions work. He was in a combat engineer, so he made things go boom boom, which is really cool. And I'm always impressed when you can scare the shit out of the Marine Corps with your criminal record. It's like it takes talent it takes talent to take the Corps to send the Corps rocketing into their safe space with a criminal record. I mean, bravo, Kurt. Loving it. Okay, Persiog, I'm going to butcher your name. Persiog 91. We will talk offline. I'll get on Twitch once I'm done here, and we'll talk a little bit and see what we can work out. Because I don't want anybody feeling left out or slighted or ignored. My brain is in the blender right now after doing that interview. So I literally just in that interview, I literally just talked us into a road trip. Yeah. So that happened. The hell with it. So he's been through the fire, and he is a good dude. He is a legit good dude. And what I really, really want is we're gonna do the sun's out, guns out workout. We're gonna fire up the grill. We're gonna do it all, and we're gonna make a whole day of it. We're going to once I can get everything upgraded as far as videos, like technical equipment. I'm going to be talking to my resident computer nerd probably tonight after the show. We got to start planning for that because we got to do all this stuff to show the veteran that they have to we have to reconnect with each other and help each other. We have to treat these like these stupid hot missions where we know it's dangerous, we know it's stupid, and we have to acknowledge that we need each other, and we can't be prideful and not communicate. That's our biggest problem outside of being off of active duty and downrange. We get prideful, thinking we can handle everything on our own when we really can't. So what he and I are building together are going to be a part of my automotive segment that I'm trying to get set up once I can actually get some money and actually get some tech to where I can do this in a shop. Okay. Yeah, what I want to ultimately do is turn this ranting because God bless Pimp Pete ordained me the king of the rant, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with a rant. It's a pressure relief valve that you need out of your system. It's sort of like an exhaust. It's sort of like an exhaust. If it gets clogged up, it's worthless. It doesn't run properly. We have to get stuff out of our system. And the thing I love about Low Entertainment, besides the fact that they've gotten me doing stuff again and not thinking myself into doing nothing, I have no problem doing stuff now, but I just feel clumsy doing it because I'm not planning myself into doing nothing. So I'm processing the idea of just being more decisive, and it goes against my perfectionist nature, and it's a constant fight. So that's what I'm grateful to them for. And there's the good thing about War Entertainment is they're really, I like their short-term crisis mode management, to where like, hey, talk to us. And I want you to see the rant as a good short-term, okay, I need this out of my system, because I want you to be able to say, yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. He's right. And that's good. That's good the short term. But you have to marry the short term to the long term. This, if we can, that itty bitty old as dirt, I'm thinking she's easily 40 years old. This is a 40-year-old Briggs. I think it's about a 40-year-old Briggs and Stratton engine. It came off of my friend's wood splitter, his hydraulic wood splitter. Oh, it runs great. I.e., however, you see this gaping hole in the crankcase? That's an issue. Just, yeah, it's an issue. That's going to have to get replaced. I'm going to strip it down and rebuild it, because I kind of need to do it for my self-respect. I need to believe I can do things again, because I've been struggling. The only reason I've been taking a week off from the gym this week is because my body is just beat to hell. I'm going to finish putting the inversion table I just got from a friend together, and I'm going to be upside down, and I'm going to get stretched out because my back is still killing me. But yeah, it's a story for another time. Now, I want this rant. It's sort of like, how do I say this? I want the rant to branch out into other things. So obviously, we're going to do automotive technician related stuff. That's fine, because I need to get back into that business. I need to get my brain working again. I want to be doing this stuff. So Gapplebees, I'm trying to get with Gapplebees because I want to do stuff with other hosts, because I'm not an expert in anything. And it's shameful that I'm not an expert in anything as many years as I've been alive. But the other thing I'm an expert in is being a curmudgeon and a pain in the ass. And that's some expertise I don't want anymore. So I really don't want to be. I don't want to be an expert in being a pain in the ass. Okay, I don't. As God is my witness, I don't. I want to get back to being proficient at my job as a technician. I hate writing because my book represent. I'll always equate the writing of my book with dysfunction and trauma and anger and rage. Like one thing I forgot to tell Kurt about, one of my big struggles was with my time in Baghdad was the rage that I still struggle with to this day. In the book, the character, the Mr. Orange character, and I can't use the other word that Samuel L. Jackson made famous, but the rage I felt from what he did to me is as fresh today as it was the day it happened. It's like it just happened today. The rage is always going to the rage is still that fresh, and because I'm a grease monkey at heart, I need a process. I need a protocol to help me deal with it, but I can't find one. I can't come up with one. I don't know what to do there. And because I have such a hatred of the box checkers of the VA, the thought of being like them and just saying, oh, it's fine. No, I can't do that. I need a process to work my mind to help me process it, to help me accept it. And if I could ever get an answer from my Wounded Warrior Project guy on what's going on in June-ish and July-ish, I can let you guys know if I'm going on another road trip and doing the podcast from somewhere else. I'm just going to say it like that right now, because I don't want to look like things are easy for me. It's not that I don't want things to be easy. I've been doing all this ranting. I don't want it to be like, dude's totally faking it because he's making this look so easy. No, I want you to see me struggling, in the sense that I want you to see I want the consistency of the ranting, and then you seeing me struggling. Okay, he's struggling with this. Okay. Now I get it. He's not faking this. He's not virtue signaling. He is struggling mightily with this every damn day. That's what I want to do. So we're gonna have the automotive segment. Okay, we're gonna have a writing segment if I can ever get just my other. Okay, my book editor was a lot easier to access than my writing program editor, because my writing program editor is currently literally halfway across the world. So yeah, there are challenges there. But the book is intended to help you identify. And if you're a male, I want your wife or whatever, your spouse, to read the book with you and be like, and you haven't called the vet center to set up counseling appointments for you because you're such an insufferable ass once a week. I want her to read it and be like, and you haven't called the shrink. Why? This dude literally put all of his dysfunction in the written word, and it's out there forever. You no longer have an excuse. Here's the phone, call the damn shrink. That's what I want my book to do. I want the writer's guide to help you write. Okay. One of these days, I'm going to go get some used, beat up ignition parts to kind of help. Yeah, I want the writer's guide to be available to help you get the most raw, honest content from here to here's a laptop down here. I actually promise, trust me. To the laptop as intact and raw and authentic and potent as possible. Because the more raw, potent, honest content you have, the more you got to work with, and the easier it is to edit. Okay. So we got the automotive component, writing component. Hold on a second. I don't eat. Okay, so we all struggle with the battle of the balls. So you're gonna get me to watch me beat my body to a pulp. I even basically just in the middle of the interview, just more or less conscripted Kurt into a workout. Okay. So we're going to do car stuff. We're going to work out, and we're going to do a road trip and do some healing and all that crap, So that didn't even ask me how the hell that happened, because I just do what I do. And I don't like to create mayhem. I don't like to create mayhem. I'm just talented at it. Let's be real. I'm talented at creating mayhem. Okay. Whether it be the ADHD, whether it be the PTSD, whether it be the bipolar, the perfectionist, obsessive compulsive. Yeah, I've got a head full of bad wiring. And I always like to say the Lord is doing miracles with the 6 to 8 functioning brain cells I still have left. So we're going to do the fitness component. Okay, because, well, quick, thing. Leave me alone. Anyways, so we'll just fast forward to the day I came out of the coma, which is the 12th or the 13th, I want to say. I was in a 2-day diabetic coma. I come to, my eyes are still rolling around on my skull. And my roommate, once he found out I was awake, he wouldn't shut up, and I wanted to kill him. Because, like, you don't approach me first thing in the morning when I don't have caffeine in my system. To quote Saruman, you have chosen death. If you, okay, just real quick, if the first thing I should tell the like, if I ever find a woman crazy enough to marry and love me, it's like, the first thing I'm going to say to her is, honey, don't speak to me first thing in the morning without caffeine in my system. Just have sex with me, and then let me have caffeine, and everything will be beautiful. Sex, caffeine, for the woman I'm meant to marry, if I ever find a woman that crazy, sex, caffeine, conversation. That's the first thing. Those sex, caffeine, and conversation are the first 3 things that'll happen the first thing in the morning. Okay, in that order: sex, caffeine, talk. Sex, caffeine, and talking. Okay, reasonably intelligent conversation. No reasonably intelligent conversation before the sex and the caffeine. Reasonably intelligent conversation after the sex and the caffeine. Okay, that's just how it works now with me. Just yeah, there you go. So nurse hands me the phone, says it's for you, and my eyes are still rolling around on my skull, and I'm like, sure, yeah, sure. So I answer the phone, and my buddy's like, dude, you do realize that you just came out of a 2-day diabetic coma, right? And I'm like, well, that explains why I slept so fucking well. Pardon my language, freaking well. And every time I see the phone like this, I don't have to. I never had to condition myself, but every time I see the phone like this, it's like, get your fat ass to the gym now. And because my Jeep's been broken, that's the beautiful thing about the Jeep. My fat ass is doing cardio whether they like it or not. And the problem when you're in a city that has crappy, sidewalks and bike paths and stuff, my route to the gym is based on okay, here's what it's up to now. The amount of debris in the road that can puncture your damn tires, that's one of the higher priorities. You're likely the lowest possible likelihood of getting hit by a damn car or a damn semi or whatever. Hills, and how much coffee slash pre-workout I got in my system. So if I'm feeling like crap, I'm going to have enough caffeine in my system to kill a horse. That's just, I need this just to stand upright first thing in the morning. Okay. And what I'm in the habit of doing now is I make this cup the night before. Oh, by the way, I got this from my firefighter friend, and I love you guys, but this is worth most of them. This has more value than most of your lives. I'm just letting you know that now. No, I need one of these just to stand upright and yeah. Speaking of which. So yeah, because my Jeep broke down, it's been a blessing in disguise because my fat ass is doing cardio. And I'll tell you guys, if you're old and you're big, if you're gonna bike ride for physical fitness, because it is easier on your joints to an extent, except for your feet. Except for your feet. I have arthritis and neuropathy in my feet. I'm just letting you know that now. Oh, This right here, that hard spot, that's from the half marathon I did in Iraq in 08. That was one of my prouder moments. The fact that I finished it and didn't die. Because after about mile 10, the pain just starts working up joint groups. It goes from the feet to the ankles, ankles to the knees, knees to the hips, and then you're like, why am I doing this? Oh, that's right, because my first sergeant told me so. Quick story on that. I went home. It was my second deployment. I went home on emergency leave. Now, here's the thing. Don't start busting my balls. Hear me out. I had to go home and see my grandmother. Now, normally they don't allow emergency leave for anything but direct family members, mother, father, sister, brother, you got it. I had been in Iraq for so long. My second deployment was 20 months long. I was like 11 or 12 months in. I was 11 months in, and I was walking around with this glazed over, the lights are on, nobody's home, I'm going to kill somebody look. So they're like, fudge the paperwork and send his ass home now. They're like, he looks like he's about to murder somebody. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. I think I should go home. So no, I go home on emergency leave, and that's in the book. And you're going to read stuff that you're like, this dude, how the hell is he not on copious amounts of drugs? But anyways, I get back. My roommate, I get back into remedial PT because I'm not rail thin. And my roommate, I love him, but I want to dick punch him sometimes. He was like, you ready to do that half marathon on Saturday? And this is on Monday. I'm like, you lie like hell. Tuesday, we have that same conversation. Wednesday, we have that same conversation. Thursday, we have that same conversation. Friday morning, first sergeant walks into formation. You guys ready for that marathon tomorrow? I'm like, my roommate smacked me in the arms like, I told you. And I'm like, I don't want to run a half marathon. I'm a fat bastard. My fat ass finished that half marathon. When those hoes in the remedial PT said, oh, we'll catch him. And hoes didn't catch me, trust me. No, they dropped out like 2 miles. First sergeant's like, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, woo, so yeah, my fat ass finished a marathon, a half marathon. So hey, I'll put a picture on the OHQ main page of my participation trophy for finishing the damn half marathon. I'm proud of that shit. I'm proud of that damn participation trophy. I'm just letting you know that now. A fun fact: when I was there in 08, we were at Talil Adder, which is down by Nazarene. I could literally walk out of my shop, look that way, and I could see Abraham's ancestral temple before he just decided to haul ass to Israel. So, no, fun fact: the Air Force hated, loathed, and despised the Ugandans in the sense that they never, ever, ever let anybody don't tell the Ugandans we're doing a damn marathon, because the Ugandans would whoop the shit out of the Air Force, and the Air Force's fragile ass ego could not handle the fact that the Ugandans would blow their freaking doors off in all the marathons they did. So all the marathons were all held in secret, and just to be dicks, we as the Army would go over to, hey, the Air Force is doing a damn marathon. You might want to go blow their doors off. Oh, they hated us for that. That was hilarious. But anyways, yeah, that was a good time. But yeah. So anyways, so we got the automotive, we got the writing, we got the fitness, we got me ranting. Well, what else do we got? Here's the thing. I'm going to interview veterans. Let me give you kind of the rundown for the next few weeks. I'm interviewing other veterans in other disciplines to kind of raise awareness on various issues, and then I can launch off into other topics, because I want to be more, okay. I want to be I want to be a combination short and long-term solution as far as the veteran suicide rate goes. Okay. So I want to rant, because ranting is the classic short-term pressure relief valve, but all this other stuff is long-term, because I had somebody I was dealing with, and I was trying to help them, trying. They would literally call me up on a Friday or Saturday night, and they would weep and wail about their problems. And I'm like, As a man, I want to problem solve. And I know you women just want us to listen. But you cannot expect us to deny our nature and try to problem solve. You just need to get that crap out of your head. We're fed up with it. I, as a man, am fed up with you as a woman not letting me problem solve sometimes. Because sometimes you need to be called out and say, no more you're just ranting. You need to actually start solving a damn problem. Okay. And she would call me up every 2 or 3 weeks. And like I said, I did not need to know. No offense, ladies. I do not need in my head a visual of your ovaries and the fact that they can either calcify or be riddled with cysts. But guess what? Every 2 or 3 weeks, she'd call me up and that visual's back in my head. Okay? And at one point, my wounded warrior project guy, he's like, oh, crap. Because I literally called up the call center. I'm like, I am going to crawl up. I said to the first person I talked to, this is, you're probably a really nice person, but I am going to keep calling. I'm going to crawl up your ass. I'm going to crawl up the ass of the next person until John gets his ass on the phone and gets up to up north, up to New York, and helps that woman. Or I'm going to go up there and then I'm going to find the caseworker that you don't have the balls to tear into, and I'm going to tear into her my damn self. And I said to him, I says, dude, I don't want pictures of diseased ovaries in my head, but they keep getting planted in there because your damn caseworker isn't doing her damn job. And what terrified me the most would be hanging up the phone and this individual committing suicide or ODing or whatever, because all I was a stopgap measure. I don't want to be. I couldn't live with myself if I was the stopgap measure that didn't work that one time. Okay. That would kill me. I could never counsel veterans. Well, first of all, I've only got 6 to 8 functioning brain cells. There's a miracle I can remember my own damn name, but I don't have the first time I would lose somebody, I would have a meltdown. I don't have the temperament for this. I just help because people, by the time they're done talking to me, Lewis Anderson will tell you, once he and I were done talking, he felt orders of magnitude less messed up in the head than when we started. That's my secret. You feel so much. Wow, I feel less dysfunctional. I feel less warped. I feel far less insane now that I've talked to him. And that's good in the short term. But life is not perpetual short-term solutions. You have to have long-term solutions. So all the segments I want to launch into will represent the long-term stuff. Laughing is short-term. Ranting is short-term. All these things are short-term, but you can't live there. Because once the short-term mindset once the short-term solution becomes a mindset, it does damage to you. Because you live in that hyped up, feeling good because you got a narrow save, in helping somebody, or whatever you did felt good, so to speak, but you didn't actually solve a damn problem. You just kicked it down the road, and then you got to deal with it again. No, I want my segments that I'm trying to launch into, but everything costs money and facilities and parts and tech. I need all this to work so I can afford all this crap so I can actually be effective in helping the veterans. Because I want a great shop to work in for one simple reason. My Jeep is yellow. But once I resto mod the Jeep, it will not be yellow. Do you know why it won't be yellow? Yellow is the universal sign for taxicab. And my broke ass friends, because I'm the dependable friend, they think I'm an alchemist. They think I'm an alchemist because they think I can pop my fuel cap off, put it on my little bumper here, put it on my and then I can shove the top because they're always offering me tacos, and I think that they think I'm an alchemist because I can just take that taco, I can shove it in my fuel tank, and as it magically crosses that threshold, the taco will turn into 93 octane fuel. They just think that, That's the downside to being a dependable friend is your friends think you're an alchemist and you could turn tacos into 93 octane fuel or diesel fuel, whatever, depending on what you drive. So I figure if I'm going to be the dependable friend, I might as well be the dependable friend who's more proficient at being dependable. Okay. And these same broke ass friends seem to think you can provide Cadillac quality on a Pinto budget. No, not how it works. And I want to be able to help them out and be like, I get it, you're broke, but you need to get rid of that. You need to remove from your brain this idea that I'm just going to give you Cadillac quality and a Pinto budget. You need to just a little bit. Come on. I'm not getting paid in tacos anymore, bro. It's called knowing your worth. So let's see. Automotive, writing, fitness, cooking. I did a few videos, okay, on how to cook. I am writing a cookbook. Why? Because it was simply the end result of me sucking up to my editor and now second former publisher. Why? Because right now I'm in my bedroom. You guys can see that. You can see the stupid bed frame that I don't use for reasons, and yeah, I'll get into that later. When I'm really, really, very unbelievably depressed, leaving this room can actually be a challenge. And I mean, leaving my unless I have to use the bathroom or get coffee, there are times I would isolate so bad. Leaving the room was a challenge. It's that bad. So the cookbook is going to represent you leaving the room and going in the kitchen and then staying in there long enough to accomplish a task. It's not that you're stupid. It's that once you get depressed enough, long enough, you start to really doubt yourself and your ability to be proficient. Your depression beats down your ability to believe in your capability as a basic human being. So the cookbook, it's going to be a collaboration. I was originally going to collaborate with one guy, and I'm going to get back in touch with him because I love him to death. He's really cool, and but now that I'm a part of Whoa Entertainment, I can't just do whatever I want. To quote the name of that damn movie. I love that movie. What's the name of that damn movie? Somebody tell me the name of the movie that's in my head. Read my mind. Super Troopers. I can't do it all nimbly bimbly. Okay, I have to do it with some purpose. You know what I'm saying? I want to write the cookbook to where you can follow the instructions. It's going to be a shake and bake thing. I'm going to be the basics, and the two guys I really want to collaborate with are going to be the class it up, fancy schmancy, make it look pretty and plateable and palatable and yada yada yada. I'm just really basic. Everything I cook is like super moist and super tender. Oh, J-Dub, moist. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna be. It's gonna be shake and bake. I'm gonna be the super basic, and my other guys are gonna be the classy, dress it up kind of. Leave me alone. So yeah, no, that's the plan for this show. It's got to grow into something much more significant than what it currently is. I mean, there's nothing wrong with humble beginnings, but you got to grow. And again, that's what I love about Whoa Entertainment. They force me to be clumsy. They force me to not think myself into doing nothing, but I feel clumsy as hell, and I'm struggling. And Athen, the resident IT Emperor God level IT nerd, is hold on a second. I'm going to talk and share at the same time. I haven't shared my show out yet. So, what the hell was I supposed to talk? I was supposed to talk about okay, there's $100. Okay, starting in June, there's like $100 reward thing for tuning into all the shows. And okay, I haven't okay. Okay. So where the hell was I? I was talking about something because, I talk a lot, but that's a start for another time. But no, I want this to turn into something a lot better because I'm such a perfectionist prick. I want it now, and I'm pissed when I don't get it now because I still got that downrange convoy mentality where everything has to happen now at the latest or everything's a failure. Yeah. Oh, one day I will explain PTSD. I will explain PTSD. I got to get my hands on an ignition coil to explain how PTSD works. Let me get to working on finding this right now. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn that down, and I'm going to share out while I'm talking to you guys. I'm sorry I didn't get this done sooner, but these interviews are so, they're so, all encompassing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I've got a lot of plans for this show, and I want to get I want to get other hosts in here to get their stuff back up and running and get us collaborating on stuff. Because right now everything is all, and I do mean all, about Warrior Fest. It's all about Warrior Fest. It's all about my fat ass being done at 225, which means I'm about to. Oh, the money I'm about to spend is, when you're broke. If you're broke as a joke, if you spend anything more than $25 at a crack, the pucker factor just kicks in hard. Okay, so yeah, I really need you. I really, hopefully, sometime over the next week or two. Hopefully over the next week or two, I'll have everything up and running. Because okay, oh, I almost forgot to give you guys the breakdown of who's going to be on next. Let me. That should do for now. That should do for now. One more. I ain't get hurt. So yeah. All right. Wrong one. Yeah, I'm right now. My brain's in the blender. Oh crap! I went to the wrong one. Okay. Here's what we're gonna have on next. We're gonna have a guy named Lewis Anderson. He's the veteran who helps place veterans with service dogs. Those are big damn dogs. If I wasn't broke as a joke, I'd be all over a service dog. So it'd be Lewis Anderson. A guy named Christopher Lee. He's a friend of mine through Don Gonke, Irish mobster who died last year, and I'm grumpy because I wasn't able to process it properly for reasons. And because I love Donnie like a brother, I'm going to cut my damn tongue out and not say some things, but I'm definitely feeling it. So yeah, this guy named Seth Castle. He is a veteran author, and all these guys are friends with me for one simple reason. They want a V device on their long suffering badge. I put up with that bastard. I deserve a V device on my long suffering badge. So it's going to be Lewis Anderson, Christopher Lee, Seth Castle. I got a couple other people I'm just going to share that I want on here. I want Justin Keeney on here because he's the other friend who wants a V device on his long suffering badge. I'll get him on here eventually. I might drag Emma Pidge on here simply because she's been there, done that, and she's got, Anthony Triplett. He actually read my poem last night on his show. I want to get him on my show so we can start talking. I want a lot of cross collaboration because we need to stop eating each other alive online. We need to. We really do. We need to stop eating each other alive online. So I want to get Anthony Triplett on here. My buddy Adel Fontenot, my buddy Idle Font. I want him on here because he's got an African American perspective that I really want to get some exposure to, because he's my brother from another mother, and I want to show him some love because he's a cool dude. Josh Kaiser, he's a civilian. He's a friend of J-Dubs, and he's just an all-around good dude. And for some strange reason, he makes me want to be something a little bit less of a curmudgeon whenever I talk to him. So we're gonna try to get Josh Kaiser from BB Nation Radio on here. I got to get Matt Brooks on because, well, he and I are collaborating on the project that I keep talking about called Smokezilla, and he puts up on my crap. Pete Barlow, I'll drag him back on here, when he's in South Korea, so I can bust his nuts about our collaboration, and I love him. And he's the nice guy. It's like I would feel like a complete dickhead if I were mean to him. He's an awesome, wonderful, lovable dude. I might drag Goose on simply because, Goose needs his nuts busted because, well, I love him and I want to bust his balls. He's Goose. I love him. We're Marines. We bust each other's balls. Goose, I'm bringing you on to bust your balls because I can. I'm a dick. It's what I do. It's my superpower. There you go. And I've got a small list of other people I'd like to drag back on. So, yeah. That's the list I got. And if you guys, here's the thing: if you guys can find somebody who wants to come on my show, if you guys can find a guest and say, hey, you need to go on the show, that crazy bastard will have a good, you'll have a good time with that crazy bastard. You want to get like a B or a C or a D list veteran celebrity or just a celebrity in general to come on my show, have them go to Wool Entertainment and say, hey, get him on the show, and he'll drag all kinds of crap out of him. And you can tell I'm really free spirited to help my guest feel free spirited, so we can have a really good, honest conversation. So my homework assignment for you guys, it's real simple. You guys find guests for me. Like somebody, I want one of these jackass congressmen in Congress individuals, people, congressmen, women, whatever. Pick a woke term and run with it. I want somebody from Congress on here. Why? Because I want to have a real conversation with them. Now, how do I put this? How do I say this? I'm not saying I'm going to ambush them, but I'm going to be honest with them and how I feel about certain things. And I'm going to want to, I'm going to ask for some direct answers. And one of the problems with the VA, I'm convinced that the VA is run by the E4 Mafia / Lance Criminal Underground. Lance Criminal is Marine Corps. E4 Mafia is Army. I know the Navy has something in the Air Force. They're too pretty people perfect to have anything like that, I would think. But prove me wrong. It's like lie, deny, make counter accusations. They do everything to avoid answering directly at all costs. They do everything to avoid answering you in a definitive way. They do everything to avoid conflict to the point where they actually create more conflict because they come across as highly deceptive and dishonest. That's what they do. And that's the kind of conversation I want to have. Okay. So that's the plan for right now, is to get, I want you guys to bring guests on. If you want somebody high profile on my show, give me and obviously I'm looking to improve my setup, which means I got to call up the cable company and get some stuff relocated, mind you. But yeah, if you want somebody on here that you want a conversation where it's like, oh, this is going to be good. Oh, he's going to do what he does best. He's going to speak horribly and inappropriately, like he doesn't have a filter in his mouth. And I'm halfway decent and not cursing too much. But yeah, if you want an interview with somebody where you think, this is going to be good, I better get the popcorn. If you want that, get a hold of Goose, get a hold of Pimp, get a hold of Athen, and set it up. I mean, say, hey, see if you can get this person on there, or let me set. You see what I'm saying? If you want fireworks, be a part of the process. I'm going to do whatever, because not whatever, but I'm going to do me in just such a way that nobody's going to wonder where I stand. Nobody's going to wonder what kind of person I am. I want to be consistent to where you don't have to, oh man, what's he going to be like? No, he's pretty consistent. So you know what? Comments are pretty dead right now. I'm at an hour, just a hair over an hour and 53 minutes. We're going to cut it off a little early tonight because I'm sweating like a hooker in church of confession. I suppose that wasn't the nicest thing to say, but you get my point. I will see you next week. Next week's guest, I'm going to post that because I'm still trying to firm up some dates. I'm trying to wait. Let me check my private chat right now in front of you so I can possibly get you a halfway decent answer. So, okay. Okay. You know what? Let me get back to you sometime. I'm gonna try to have the guests set up by Sunday, and then I'll just put on on the Woe HQ page because that's just my go-to page right now. I'll try to have a I'm gonna try to have a guest lined up. I hate this last minute stuff drives me up a wall, dude. So um, yeah. So I'll try to have that for you. And again, if you want somebody on here who's like A or B list, start. You know, you start the process. You get them in touch with Pip, Goose, or Athen. Like, hey, we want some fireworks. We want some shenanigans. See if you can make this set. You guys jump in. You guys become a part of the process. You guys are part of the family and part of the community. So you guys started looking for people to come on the show. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go. I got an idea who else I could invite on. I really do. I do. I'll message him tonight and see what I can get away with because he would be legit celebrity to me, anyways. Because he's cool. I've known him for a while. He's really cool. Keep you informed. All right, we got 5 minutes. I'm calling it a night. You behave yourselves. Or if you can't behave, don't get caught. Don't be sloppy and get caught. So I'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Love you. Bye.